Madam Toastmaster and fellow members here. As the purpose of this speech is to introduce myself to you, and I would like to start with a quote from Albert Einstein. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. I think this quote defines my life, and I would like to share some of it with you today. And I would like to start with a question. How many of you repeated a grade more than once? School, elementary, high school, anything? Or do you know anyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Someone did, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, same thing. I have repeated third grade for 3 years.
Oh.
But before telling you about how I got repeated a grade for 3 years, let me introduce myself and tell you a little bit more about my background. My name is Gayhtoo. I was born in Burma, also known as Myanmar, and I live and grew up in a very small village called Sadai, and there were less than 15 houses, and we have very small school there. And we hardly saw any teachers come in to school. There were two reasons. First, our village is the center and the place where the Burmese army stopped and forced villagers, including my parents, especially my father, to be their porters to carry ammunition and their food carts. Secondly, none of the teachers were willing to come to a remote village and teach us. So my mother sent me and my younger brother to live with my grandparents, who live closer to the city, where there were schools we could go and study. We lived there with 4 of my other cousins, and life was not easy for me at all during that time, and my grandmother could barely afford to buy me school uniforms. But I enjoyed school and tried my best to do well in school. Now, let me get back to why it took me 3 years to pass third grade. Because of the civil war in Burma, my family had to flee to a refugee camp, Mela camp, we call it, in Thailand, for our survival. I finished second grade in Burma, so when I arrived in refugee camp, I was placed third grade. The school in refugee camp were taught in Korean, which is my mother tongue. However, I did not understand or able to read or speak Korean at all. Even though Burma is a multi-ethnic country, all schools in Burma were taught in Burmese because the Burmese government banned all ethnic groups to learn their own languages. So the first year in refugee camp was very challenging for me. I failed all classes, so I had to repeat the grade that year. My second year was a lot better, and my Korean was better also. And I did better in school, and I'm sure I would pass all my classes that year. But unfortunately, life threw a curveball at me again. The Burmese soldiers attacked the refugee camp in Thailand, where I live, and we have to move out of that area for 2.5 months to escape in one of the village in Thailand illegally. That happened during the final exam, so I didn't get to take the final exam. Since I didn't take the final exam that year, I had to repeat third grade for the second time. After the situation was better, we came back to the refugee camp, and I again repeated third grade again in a new school. Third time as a charm. I finally passed the third grade. After that, I never failed any of my classes again. And that, my fellow Toastmasters, is one of my story of my life. Life in a refugee camp is like a bird living in a cage where there is water, food, and shelter, but there is no hope and no opportunity to explore the world outside the camp. But that doesn't really keep me from dreaming about my future. In refugee camp, there is no law that children must go to school, so I could just quit after I failed so many times. but instead I choose to keep trying. Like I said earlier, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. I will not be here today if I don't keep moving, keep growing, and keep learning. And I will not stop until I reach my goal. Thank you.
Oh, wow.